Cool Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yao Mean of Revolution. Nolan was alive until on July 5th. Wow. Before we get into that, y'all be sure to wipe y'all feet. That means hit the like button. You in the House of Revolution. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Well, this is very shocking. Let's get right into the content.
I want to be 1000% clear. The sole reason why I am covering this new development in the Nolan Wells case is because the lead attorney, Benjamin Crump, just posted about it on his Instagram. And the latest development is that Nolan Wells was alive July the 5th, and he did return from Horn Island. And not only has attorney Benjamin Crump been posting this in his feed, he has also been reposting it in his stories. I am going to walk you through a timeline over the past 24 hours, starting with multiple emails I received with this latest development. Then I'm going to play a video for you that gives you detailed information about this new development. We're going to go over the timeline. We're going to go over what this means in the case. And then I'm going to tell you what Nolan Wells' mom has to say about this latest development. Sit back, relax. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the most shocking development since this case started. And then I'll hand it off to you, the out louder. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. My morning started off with a ton of emails with the screenshot you'll see here right beside me. The screenshot right beside me that I will not read in detail basically states that Nolan Xavier Wells did in fact return from Horn Island, and he attended a party, and he was alive July the 5th up until at least 3 a.m. And it is then when he got into a confrontation, and it's there where he passed away, and then they brought his body back to the water. Now, the reason why I was a little bit hesitant in the morning is because I get emails every day about different stories and developing stories about stories that I'm covering. And it's my job to make sure that I sift through them to make sure that I'm giving you guys accurate information. That is my job. So when you click on this channel, you know you're getting accurate information. As time went on, I saw a few people talking about this on Instagram. Some pages that were not so reputable, smaller pages, and I didn't think too much of it. But like I said at the top of the video, when I saw attorney Benjamin Crump post about it, that is when, to me, this story got a lot more solidified. Now, I'll be 100% honest with you. I am not 100% convinced, and I'll show you in a minute why, because of the caption that attorney Benjamin Crump put once he posted this picture. But let me get to this. Let me tell you a little bit more about the development of the story. I'm not going to read the full thing, but I'm going to put two more screenshots, and then I'm going to play a video, and then we'll get into the details of what the caption said with attorney Benjamin Crump. Let's go to the next picture. Now, for those of you who want to read the details of this, feel free to pause and read the details. I will not lend my voice to this until it is 1,000,000% confirmed. Like I said, we're trusting Benjamin Crump. And here is the third screenshot. Like I said, it's basically saying he came back, he was at this party, and the picture that I showed you at the top of this video was him in the pool with his friends. Now, let's get to the video that summarizes all of this. Take a listen.
So allegedly, Nolan did leave the island, and he went back to Wyatt's house for a pool party. And during that pool party, there was an altercation between Wyatt, Nolan, Evan, and somebody else. And apparently they beat Nolan to death with some sort of bar or pole. There are people that are putting out witness statements stating that they were there and they saw Nolan spitting up blood, and that these boys it on Nolan. They are saying that Evan's mother knew about the whole thing. And allegedly, they took Nolan's body back to the water. They're saying that this is the reason why it pinged on land at that house before they found that phone. This is why that boy told his daddy that Nolan was like a brother to me. Was like a brother to me when he showed up to get his car. It's because they already knew he was gone. Is this the reason why they needed dental records? Because he was unrecognizable? This case is starting to bust wide open. And we all knew that something else happened to Nolan. Now the question is, which of the parents helped those kids?
Now you'll see I have the picture in question zoomed in here beside me on my screen. You'll see at the top corner here that there's, I don't know, almost looks like where you would step out of the pool. Nobody knows why this is circled. Nobody knows what that is, but you'll see on the other side, there is where the basketball net is. That is what she's talking about. A couple of other things to note is in the three Facebook screenshots that I just showed you, it never says Nolan. It says Nono, N-O-N-O. It could be a nickname for Nolan. I have seen some things online that says that Javon has come out and said that this Facebook post is not about Nolan. But for those who watched my video yesterday, y'all know that like this whole Javon interview with TMZ is a little bit weird. So I don't know how much I trust Javon. That's one thing. We're going to get to the dental records in a second. For those who've been following me for the past week, you know about that conspiracy theory of the fact that there is alleged that on Monday when Nolan's body was discovered, he wasn't able to be identified right away and they needed dental records. I played that for you, which is the first conspiracy theory I talked about. I hate talking about conspiracy theories. But in that video, I also showed you a fact that Attorney Benjamin Crump said that Nolan's mom didn't identify the body. And if you guys remember on Monday when the body was discovered, it was 3 or 4 hours before we found out that it was Nolan. It was, the headlines were, there was a body that found, we don't know who it is. 3 or 4 hours later, it was identified, but it wasn't identified by his mom. We don't know who it was identified with. So this story could be true. That was the one thing where I was like, maybe it might be true. Because if you're just on the island and you're swimming off and you drown, you'd be able to be identified. If this story is true, which what Attorney Benjamin Crump just reposted and people are talking about, it would make sense that you would need to identify him with medical records if he got beat up by 4 people. Okay. I'll talk about more of that in a second. Now, I want to show you guys what was the caption under this picture from Attorney Benjamin Crump that kind of makes me go, You'll see here, Attorney Crump, and it says repost from, I'm not going to give this person any shout out, but by the way, this person has under 1,000 followers on Instagram, and no shame to anybody who has 2 followers or 2 million followers. All I'm just saying, it's not coming from CNN, ABC, NBC, or even like, let's say like somebody from new media like myself, who is reputable, have gone through Diddy trials, Ashley Janae, who I have proven my credibility on this internet here. I haven't seen any sort of credibility from this person, so I'm scratching them off. Now, the repost is not Attorney Benjamin Crump saying anything. He just reposted what this person said. Nolan Wells investigation update. The streets are talking. Now, listen, I don't know if these are facts or rumors because no official statement has been confirmed. We sometimes have to follow all clues until the truth is found. Here is what was discovered on social media last night. Social media allegedly claims a photo existing of Nolan at a land-based pool party in Jackson County before 1 a.m. July the 5th. Now, we all know the story that the boys say they didn't see him after what? I think 3 or 4:30, or they didn't see him after July the 4th at 3 o'clock. They left at 4:30. Katie said last time she saw him was on the island, but then there's a pool party at 1 o'clock. And this now a week later, we're hearing about it. And now Attorney Crump is posting saying he doesn't know if this is fact or fiction. So if you're the lead attorney in conducting the investigation, why are you reposting this, sir? But who am I to tell the Nolan family who to trust? You hire Attorney Benjamin Crump, and I have worked with Attorney Benjamin Crump. I've told you guys that with my Nike case a couple of years ago when I was suing Nike, and they are a very, very thorough office. I mean, I don't have to tell you about Attorney Crump, George Floyd, etc. He's been around for years. So regardless of my experience with them and his history, I still question the fact of why he would post something and leave in the caption, we don't know if this fact or rumors, but maybe he's just saying, hey, we don't know if it's fact or rumors and we need to explore everything. Maybe that is the case. I don't know. Now, here's a timeline that is circulating online. If the pool party ended at 1 a.m. at Evan's house, why call the Coast Guard at 11 p.m.? What time did Nolan's mom pick up the phone and from which friend's house? Now, I don't know if we know the time yet, but we know that Nolan's mom didn't pick up the phone from the Good Morning America interview. She said she sent her friend. And I don't know if she gave a date, but I'm going to assume that we all know that most people thought he went missing July the 4th. So I'm going to assume that she got back the phone July the 4th. That's what I'm assuming. She didn't say the date on her Good Morning America interview, but that's what I would assume. But if there's a party at 1 a.m., then maybe she picked up a phone July the 5th in the night. I don't know. If the party ended at 1 a.m. and they were cleaning the boat at 3 a.m., this means they had 2 hours to get rid of the body. How long does it take to get out to the boat launch and get to Horn Island and back? Legitimate question. Okay, here you'll see the person that first posted this picture, and now it has since been deleted. But you'll see here the timestamp that it was posted July the 5th at 2:53 a.m. Okay, now underneath this post, there's this caption. Nolan Wells was alive on July the 5th, 2026 at 2:53 a.m. Based on a social media post attributed to one of Nolan Wells' lying friend, Nolan appears to have been alive at approximately 2:53 a.m. July the 5th, 2006. Nolan's father retrieved his keys from a female who was at the pool party, an account his father later discussed during an interview with Roland Martin. Okay, so that's a little bit off there. Nolan's father first said that at the press conference, the Al Sharpton press conference, he didn't receive the keys from a girl. He received it from Jax. Where the girl comes in is that Jax first lied and said, I don't have Nolan's keys. And then there was a girl that called in, or a girl that somebody knew, that was like, hey, tell Nolan's dad to tell Jax that Nolan's keys are on top of the Xbox. So that's why people think that it was a girl. No, the girl just called Jax out. Okay. Now, Nolan's mom got wind of this story that this girl put out on Facebook and has everybody up in arms with this latest development, once again, including Benjamin Crump. Now, Nolan Wells' mom came out and said, she's not a close friend of our son's, and I've never spoken or met with her. Now, she doesn't say that this story is not true. She just said she hasn't spoken to her. She's never met. I don't know. But it doesn't sound too much like Nolan believes this story, or maybe she feels like there's some truth to it. I don't know. All I'm just saying is this doesn't read well. And I bring this story full circle back to, I can only imagine if Nolan's mom is sitting down here saying, she's not a close friend. I don't know this girl. I've never met with her. I never spoke with her. And my elite attorney is posting this on his Instagram and on his stories. I could just imagine what must be going on. And if this story turns out to be not true, this will be a huge stain on attorney Benjamin Crump's name, my opinion. Now, I just want to go over a few things or a few more details about this story, why it could be believable and why it could not be believable. Okay, the first story why I find it hard for this story to be credible is every single person in this picture, and quick count, let's say around 20 people. That would mean these 20 people are all in cahoots together and is lying to the police, because up until today, right now, nobody has seen Nolan after 7 p.m. July the 4th. If this picture was taken July the 5th at 1 a.m., that means all of these people are going to jail, because the police have conducted an investigation and none of these people have come out to say, he was at a pool party at 1 a.m. All these people would have to go to jail. So all these people, and there's probably more people at the party. So just quick math, that would mean that at least 40 to 50 people would have to be in cahoots to be lying about this and be willing to go to court to say that this story is true. That's what would have to happen. Now, on the flip side, one thing I do find a little suspicious about the original story is that Nolan went missing July the 4th. Nobody saw him after, let's say, roughly 4 or 5 o'clock. The Coast Guard was alerted, and there's skepticism about the Coast Guard and when they went out to look or whatever. But we do know that they went out to look July the 5th-ish. We don't know the time. But they did go out. They did not find him. They only found him July the 6th, which was Monday around 9 a.m. Now, I'm not an expert on searching, but if you have a whole team out on Sunday, I find it a little bit weird that the body does only wash up or become closer to the shore July the 6th. So this story could be true that, something happened to him July the 5th. They dumped the body, they kept the body, they did something, and then went out and put him there at some time during July the 5th, and that's why I only found him July the 6th. That's why I'm still not too sure about this story. And then it also makes sense of why was the boat at the judge's house at 3 o'clock in the morning cleaning it? It would make sense if they beat him up so badly that they had to go there to clean the boat. Now, I understand. I've seen people in the comment section like, in salt water, you have to clean the boat. Yeah, not at your friend's mom's house who's a judge at 3 a.m. No, you clean it in the afternoon or you clean it in the morning, especially 18-year-old kids. Okay? So stop that. And then there's a question of the dental records, which is something that has been floating around all week that I have told you guys about. So there are another theory. There's just another layer to this. Do you guys believe this story? Do you not believe this story? I just gave you, 5 examples of how it could be true and 5 examples how it could not be true. I think for me, the best thing to do here is trust the attorneys that Nolan Wells' family has hired. Now, before I leave you with this to go in the comment section, I just want to add into a piece of evidence that I gave you guys yesterday about tampering with evidence. Let me just touch on that. I'm actually kind of doubling down on that and want to show you guys how important it is. In yesterday's video, which I'm going to put below and I'm going to pin it for you guys to see, I let you know that at least at minimum, the 3 white boys that were on the boat with Nolan should be facing 20 years in jail for tampering with evidence. What is the evidence? Nolan's phone. We do know for 100% fact, not speculation, fact, that Warren called Nolan's mother and said, I don't know where Nolan is. I don't know anything. And he had Nolan's phone with him. Nolan's mom pinned the phone, sent her friend, pinned the phone, realized it was at Warren's house, sent her friend to go and pick it up. That is tampering with evidence. If you know that somebody is missing, you have to give every piece of evidence to the police. And not only that, Nolan's mom has said that when she got back the phone, she knows that there was deletions off there because Nolan would have been posting on Snapchat and there was no pictures or no posts. Now, in yesterday's video, I told you that is a crime punishable up until 20 years. I want to show you of a case that's almost identical to this. Teen arrested after his friend drowned. Instead of helping or calling 911, he fled the scene and deleted all messages. I'll read this very quickly to you. April the 13th, 2026, 18-year-old Daniel left his home with 19-year-old Lucas and another friend before all 3 jumped into the lake for a swim. One of the boys drowned, and instead of helping or calling 911, Roper fled the scene in his car. He threw away the clothes of the boy who drowned, tossed his phone out the window of a moving vehicle, and attempted to conceal evidence. Roper later deleted all messages and calls of his friend that drowned, admitting he panicked and didn't want to get in trouble because he knew there'd be an investigation. The friend's body was discovered 4 days later. On July the 9th, Dallas police arrested and charged him with tampering and fabricating physical evidence and impairing an investigation. Those 3 boys that were on the boat with Nolan need to be arrested immediately. That's the same call I called for yesterday. Here is a case almost identical, same age group, same almost story. Arrest the 3 white boys on the boat. All right, y'all. I just gave you a ton of things to talk about in the comment section. Please let me know how you feel.
Breaking news. We have deleted pictures and deleted messages from Nolan's Wells' so-called friends' deleted accounts. Y'all take a good look. Y'all see Nolan over there in the circle. Y'all check it out. These are deleted pictures, and we have deleted messages from deleted accounts. These are screenshots from deleted accounts. I told you, what's being done in the dark shall be brought to the light. Now, what we're seeing is, and what we're going to react to is some deleted messages and deleted photos that was screenshotted before Nolan's so-called friends deactivated their accounts. And one message I seen that is being sent to Ben Crump. Believe me when I tell you, I believe Ben Crump has a lot of messages and pictures that's being sent to him. He just waiting and building up his case. Y'all know they like to take their time just so when they plead the case that it's going to be official. But before we get into these leaked messages and deleted pictures, we're going to get some commentary from TikTok, y'all. Check it out.
A reputable source has shared this photo that Nolan Wells made it back to land.
You would think that after Nolan Wells was pronounced unalive and his body was found, his friends would be putting out posts saying, rest in peace, oh my God, something. But no, everybody is dead silent. Every last person that was there has deleted their Instagram, their Facebook, their social media. Everybody's gone quiet, including the parents. Okay, y'all, including the parents, including a judge. Okay, attached to one of those kids.
Because now it makes sense. Okay, that's why they deleted Nolan Wells' Snapchat videos, because it didn't corroborate with their alibi that he never left Horn Island, because he was snapping while he was at Evan's pool party, and the dates is on there. Now it's just all making sense now. Like, Nolan is supposed to be here. He's supposed to be here. He's supposed to be back at college.
Okay, family, y'all get y'all screenshot on. Y'all see what I see. Y'all see what I see. This is the new leaked photo that was allegedly sent to Ben Crump. And I know he looks scared, y'all. I know he looks scared, y'all. He looks scared. That's Nolan right there. That's Nolan right there. The boy got his arm around it. I don't trust that guy right there. Yeah, I don't trust this guy right here. I don't trust him. I don't trust him. But we're going to go ahead and continue. We're going to look at some messages as well, y'all, of someone elaborating on what had allegedly taken place that night. Check it out, y'all. Nolan's nickname is No-No, right? So it says, bro, No-No didn't get into a fight at the island. It was our other friend. No-No and Wyatt did get into an altercation right after that, not even 10 minutes later, because Wyatt took his phone and Evan was trying to be hard. Nolan was definitely screaming, give me my fucking phone back, ninja. What the wrong with you? So this is them letting us know what we already knew, y'all. So they all calmed down. So that's when we head to Evan's house, because he was throwing a pool party. So yes, No came to the party, and yes, we was drinking. But Wyatt and Evan and Morgan and Andrew was really hot. Oh my gosh. It's coming out, y'all. And I think they was trying to get Lucy and Natalia to try some as well. But yeah, what was they trying to try? This correlates with what the friend was saying when he was being interviewed by TMZ. Remember the substances that he was talking about. But yes, they got into it again at the pool party. It didn't end until almost 1 a.m. I know Evan's mom kicked us all out once they started fighting, it was Andrew and Evan and Wyatt and Warren was basically recording and laughing, saying, get him, get him. And all I could hear was No screaming, Mom. So yeah, he was screaming, Mom, while the boys was recording and laughing. They phones need to be confiscated. This is what I mean. These sheriffs and shit that's out there in Mississippi, they taking their damn time. So you got Nolan up here screaming and shit while everybody recording. This shit is making me mad. So yes, I tried helping. Then his mom come out screaming, yelling, drunk, make us leave, and was saying she was going to call the cops on us if we didn't leave her house. But they didn't let Nono leave. And Nono was by the basketball goal that was inside the pool. He was leaning over beside it and gasping for air and spitting up. Oh my God. But now his mom know I just got off the phone with her. So they just relayed this information over to the mother, y'all. So come to find out, there was something going on, and Nolan did get into it, and it wasn't at that island, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all screenshot this, share it, make sure you hype this video up, because the louder we are, the more these people, whoever have any information leading to whoever was involved in this, I'm telling you, they gonna get scared enough. All we do is got to keep posting, keep reporting. They gonna get afraid and reveal everything. Now is the time. You know how they say we got big mouths? Now is the time to unleash our big ass mouth. Here's another one, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all screenshotting this stuff if you're not on social media. That guy, Evan, deleted that one pic with Nolan in it. It was on Threads for a minute before he finally deleted it. I sent this to Attorney Crump. Since y'all keep typing and not sending to who needs to see it, why did you delete this, Evan? So it was Evan who got the information in his phone or his social media, and he's deleting every damn thing. So-called friend. Y'all see it? Somebody said, if this is true, the kids done started chirping. They're leaking messages and pictures of a pool party that took place after the island, which what we just saw, y'all. So this is the other message, said, LOL, obviously I did. That's how they got his phone, because I called, LOL. And I don't think they need to be writing LOL if Nolan was your friend. Y'all are too joyful in a moment like this. The whole world is talking about this. LOL, and his phone, and it's cut off right there, y'all. So bear with me. Was on top of his Xbox. That's why they requested him to have a private autopsy. LOL. Why the... Oh my God, I'm about to curse. Why in the hell they keep writing LOL? That goes to show you, y'all, these people don't have no compassion. It's not in them. Once they came, the house, Evan and Warren had deleted everything, including the video Nono posted that night, and I showed them the pic of all them at the pool party that night. So there y'all have it. We all know that these are fake friends. I want to tell y'all, please pray that justice gets served, y'all. These people cannot keep getting away with this, y'all. But I hope y'all screenshotted this. Whenever you see something on social media, please screenshot it and share it to the best of your ability. These so-called friends out here, they need to be held accountable, whoever's involved, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure you hype this video. Make sure you subscribe. Big Kish signing out. Gone, y'all.
Of Nolan.
TikTok users are outraged, and white folks are starting to speak out against the racism in America. They are speaking against their own people. Check it out, y'all.
Nolan Wells wasn't killed by his friends, and this investigation just started. I mean, his body was found just yesterday. Give the investigation some time before we start hearing these crazy-ass stories. And the amount of people that are saying that he was killed because he was a token black guy in his friend group is fucking insane.
Yeah, we're not doing that shit. What you make it out to be is like some innocent, well, it's not the friends. Don't get after the friends. No, what you're doing is you're victim blaming. You're putting this at the feet of Nolan Wells. Like he is somehow at fault for what happened to him. The fact that he is dead is on Nolan Wells and nobody else because it can't be his friends. Where's the human sympathy in this? Where's the address of Nolan Wells, the person, and saying, I'm sorry for the loss, for the family's loss, who lost a son, for Nolan Wells, who lost his future. You're going to come on here and immediately take up the side of something you know nothing about? You say we know nothing about it. You know nothing about it either. So don't come on here and put this at the feet of Nolan Wells. The young man is dead. Somebody is responsible. And people need to figure it the fuck out.
There you go. Because we not going to sit up here and act like he wasn't surrounded by a bunch of Caucasians on that island. We're not going to sit up here and act like it was a mixture of races on that island. So anybody who come out and just try to exclude the fact that history is repeating itself, listen, we're not even paying attention to them people right there.
Why are we automatically assuming that Nolan's friends are the ones that took part in his death? Why don't we point the finger when it's a young white man? And why do we automatically point the finger when it's not a young white man? You know why we're doing that? People that look like me, it's because that's what we do. When it is someone's black son, husband, brother, we often say, well, what did he do? But if it's a white boy like Austin Metcalf, we immediately know what happened. You know, the UFC fighting event at the White House is literally so much symbolism as to where we're at as a country. And here we are 250 years later, and we have white supremacist groups marching on the steps of the Capitol. And the most corrupt president in history posting racist tropes. And we're watching racist slurs across social media. And we're assuming the worst about that black lady on the train. And during that Newport Beach takeover, man, all those black and brown people. Yet when we see videos of young white men fighting and shooting off fireworks and all the other things, and the white Karens all over the internet showing their racism, well, then we tend to not define our entire race, right? Some of the ugliest comments I see across the internet are from white people, especially white men. Sorry, not sorry. And frankly, that should concern all of us. I'm not perfect. I am unlearning all the things that I learned growing up in a small rural town of all white people. I grew up in a time when there were no streaming documentaries. There was no history to read, no real history. And the internet wasn't even around. And now we have all of those things right at our fingertips 24 hours a day. And the most we can learn, the best source, is our black and brown friends. For me, they're the biggest source of information. I have learned so much from them, and they have been so gracious to give me the space to learn, to screw up, to figure it out, because they know I'm trying. As white people, when we continue to ignore racism, whether it's our parents, our brothers, sisters, whoever it is, we're basically, our silence says, you know, okay, it's okay, dude. Like, I know what you mean. And it's not okay.
They want us to hold on to the image that's being pushed on to us about white people. They don't want us to dive into the history and see how evil a lot of them are. And that UFC fighting event in front of the White House, just give it a couple more years. They're going to start putting humans against animals. And in them white supremacist groups in front of the White House, how many people you think work in law enforcement?
Hi, this is for white people in regards to the Nolan Wells situation, story, death, murder, probably, who knows? Hey, white people, you don't need to say it's not all white people. You don't need to say, oh, but me and my and Mo, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We all know that it's not all white people. We also know that it's always white people. So
you actually showing how evil you are just by trying to deflect and trying to reroute what everybody's already thinking.
This woke white woman tells the truth about this Nolan Wells situation.
If the situations were reversed, if the circumstances were reversed, and it was 3 black boys who took a white boy out and the 3 black boys came back and the white boy did not, it wouldn't matter that they didn't know what happened. Those 3 black boys would have been in handcuffs. Those 3 black boys would still be in questioning to this day. I can see the Fox News headline now, right? They would have used it as proof. See, we told you black people were dangerous. We told you black people were bad.
And that's big facts. The double standard is real in America. If 3 black boys went to an island with 1 white boy, and those 3 black boys came back from that island without that 1 white boy, and that 1 white boy was found dead, those 3 black boys would immediately be arrested, and those 3 black boys would immediately be looked at as guilty. Not only did those 3 white boys leave that black boy on the island, but they have now all deactivated their social media accounts and lawyered up. Their parents have also deactivated their social media accounts.
There's nothing more vile than to going into a comment section of when a black person is killed and murdered by white people or is found dead surrounding white people. Like, these white people are so offended at the sheer thought that maybe it's not safe for people of color to be friends with and around white people. As a white person myself, I understand what is happening, and it's fucking horrifying. It's like, you want to be racist, you want to say the worst of the worst about people that don't look like you, but once somebody calls you a racist, that's the offense. Not the fact that these people of color are dying at the hands of white people. Nolan Wells was left on another island away from where he was supposed to be, and these people did not report him missing. They just said he was missing. He was on a boat with his friends, okay, and went missing, and they didn't report him, but yet they're innocent, but yet they're changing the photo. They're AI generating the photo that was shared previously of them drinking alcohol, and as if they weren't drinking alcohol. And one of the mothers is a fucking lawyer or a judge. She might be a judge. I don't know.
This video is for white people. When Gabby Petito went missing and her ex-boyfriend had no idea where she was and then eventually was nowhere to be found himself, everybody understood that that was suspicious, because anytime somebody goes missing after being with specific people and then they suddenly have no idea what happened, and that person who is left behind ends up dead, that is wildly suspicious. In Gabby Petito's case, she was a young woman alone with a man. Dangerous. In Nolan Xavier Wells' case, he was a black teenager out with all white friends. Now, a lot of you, when you hear that, get immediately defensive, angry, and that is what you're reacting to. Regardless of what actually happened to Nolan Xavier Wells, there is racism at the heart of this story, no matter what, because those white boys left their friend, and instead of trying to get answers for his family, are lawyering up and becoming silent. That alone, without any knowledge of what actually happened to Nolan Xavier Wells, says a lot about the character of the people who left him behind. We know this, and we also know that since the very beginning of this country, it has been a dangerous place to be black. This is deeply embedded into the history of this country, and it is not new, and it has not gone away. There are realities that we live in. There are patterns that we recognize that we then apply to these situations. If you are a woman or somebody who listens to women, you knew what happened to Gabby Petito. If you are a black woman or somebody who listens to black women or somebody in a group of women friends, you know that what happened to Tamla Horsford doesn't make any fucking sense. And if you are a black person, you understand the danger that Nolan Xavier Wells was in just by being out with a group of only white friends in Mississippi. What happened to Nolan Xavier Wells and what Carmelo Anthony was afraid would happen to him are linked. It's all part of the fabric of white supremacy and anti-blackness in the United States of America. After repeated deaths of black children over and over in the news, at the hands of non-black people, at the hands of police. After all that, why is it so hard for you to just listen to what the people who've been in these positions are telling you? If black people are repeatedly telling you they are raised to believe they may not be safe in these circumstances for this exact reason, and you say that's not true, that's not fair, what is it about you that thinks that all of these people are in some sort of conspiracy around racism. It's all theory to you. And you do not have the fucking character, integrity, or intelligence to take in that information from a group of other people and trust it. Because God forbid you look at who you are and the pain and suffering that you might have caused. So you have to look at a situation that is so very clearly fucked up, so very clearly shady. You have to look at it and say, but what if you guys are victimized? There's one fucking victim. He's dead. Everybody else is alive. If you want to live in a world where white people are not suspected of being dangerous to black people, then stop being fucking dangerous to black people. Do the work now to create that world, because it's not the one we live in.
This just goes to show you the guilt that people live with, because they smart and intelligent when it come down to everything else. They are the official problem solvers. But when it come down to our people, they questions just off the wall. And everything that they're inquisitive about is deflection. So this lets you know who we dealing with, y'all. And the thing is that, hey, we just gotta stay away from these people, bro. Especially when we're somewhere by ourselves. But that's the end of the video.
Okay, let's get straight to the point. Nolan Wells' death has been a hot topic.
Piece of hood.
Family and some supporters feel like there's a lot of questions that has not been answered. A lot of people kind of feel like this whole Nolan Wells case is taking a turn more to like black versus white. Then you have some people who feel like, no, that's not the case. July the 4th, Nolan Wells went out to an island called Horn Island, probably about 8 to 10 miles away from the Gulf of Mississippi, Ocean Springs, Biloxi, and all that kind of stuff. Late on that evening, that night, it was discovered that Nolan did not return. His mom was notified around by 11 p.m., so eventually it came out to be a missing report, and they was looking for Nolan Wells. 2 days later, on July the 6th, around by 8:45 in the morning, Nolan Wells' body was discovered, and his family did identify him, so he was pronounced, deceased. Some reports also came out that one of the guys that was on the boat with Nolan's brother's stepmom was a judge. Her name Ashley Cole. Now, since then, with reports coming out about they had the phone, the keys, it's just been a lot of things with making people feel like something ain't right. And also, allegedly, all the friends that was on the boat with Nolan Wells lawyered up like either that next day, that morning, or whatever, and people feel like that was mighty quick. Why would you lawyer up compared to going looking for your friend? Now, from that, the stepmom has released information saying that they're getting a lot of, social media threats, because of what people allegedly think happened, which they think, the boys that were with Nolan Wells was involved. So the judge, Ashley Cole, released this, made this post on Facebook, and it states, "We have decided that we will not be speaking to the press at this time. The media is not the appropriate forum to further elaborate on the facts on July the 4th of 2026. We realize that the truth would not stop the cause for the death of our kids. We have not had the opportunity to speak to the Wells-Wansley family or their attorney. However, we are willing to directly communicate with attorney Ben Crump and the Wells-Wansley family. We will provide them with all the information known to us so their family can rest and properly mourn. We also want to know what happened to Nolan. We will do everything within our power to assist Nolan's family in their quest for answers." Nolan Wells' mom and dad, they did a lot of interviews last week up in New York with a lot of different outlets, and they revealed some more information about the retrieval of the phone, came out that, you know, trying to get the phone, you know, wasn't just as easy as people thought it was. It wasn't just a, here it goes. It was a, you know, it took a minute. They said it was kind of like, you know, they was getting a runaround. Even the dad said he was getting a runaround when he went to go retrieve the keys. Now, one thing I did say in one of my videos is, one thing I have noticed, it seems like Nolan Well parents have been dealing directly with a lot of teenagers versus parents dealing with parents. But now, since this all been going on and people still feel like there's some questions being unanswered, and also feel like that the Jackson County Sheriff offices down there in Ocean Springs or down there in Mississippi is not really handling this case well. So a march did take place on July the 11th at 5 p.m. down in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. The group, I'm not sure they organized this, but the group of men that you will see in the videos I'm about to play to you, they went marching through the streets like a band with no instruments. And this group was called the Israel United in Christ. You probably have seen them before. They have on purple and all this kind of stuff, but they came together and they went out there and marched. And, you know, and we're going to get to, some people feel like what they're marching for. But y'all check out these videos.
Hey, I just want to make sure while we're here, and we do not want to take the focus off Nolan Wells' family. That's why we're here. You know, nothing else to find out what the truth is, the transparency, and make sure that his name is not lost in the system. So please understand, that's why we're here today, and we all in support of Nolan Wells and his family. So I'm just asking you, you can hold up your signs. We need to make sure we do not cross this, block this walkway right here. And we need to, we can stand back over here with an oath initiative on the sidewalk, but just make sure we do not impede the streets of Government Street. And it's a silent protest. And we're here to sit here and have conversations. And if you want to talk to other members, you can. That's here in the community. And once again, I say this, I'm Nolan Wells because I was one of those ones that was out on those islands when I was a young man 50 years ago. So I'm telling you my age, but anyway, 40 years ago. But that I am Nolan Wells, and we also have members in this community that endure the same thing because they are Nolan Wells too as well. So please understand that we just want to remember him and his family. And at this time, can we just have a quick prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to just thank you for allowing us to be here today. Heavenly Father, we just ask you to continue to bless this family, bless the community, and bless everybody that is involved in this peaceful protest. And Heavenly Father, we just ask that you just give the Wells family the strength to get through this tragedy. And Heavenly Father, at the end of the day, your will be done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
We're not going away. Like my sign says, justice or just us. We are waiting for the information to come out, but until then, we will be heard. We will be heard. And just told me honestly,
Yes, sir, know the truth. Yes, sir, know the truth. They can't lie to you. They can't lie to you. Hey, Nolan Wells. Hey, Nolan Wells. Hey, Nolan Wells. Hey, Nolan Wells. We left that church. We left that church. And this is how it goes. This is how it goes. My reverend, there when I left. You're right. Pastor was there when I left. You're right. Teacher, there when I left. You're right. The elder was there when I left. You're right. Hey, Nolan Wells. 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 Yes, sir, Nolan Wells. Yes, sir, Nolan Wells. In 200 years. In 200 years. Yes, sir, Nolan Wells. Yes, sir, Nolan Wells. 16, 19. Yes, sir, here we go. Yes, sir, here we go. Hey, Nolan Wells. Yes, sir, know the truth. You're right. You're right.
Yep. Our history and our Bible.
I ain't never seen so many white men together.
I know a place
Thank you.
What's y'all feel about what y'all see right now?
Speechless. It's beautiful.
As you can see, they had an immense amount of people out there for this peaceful protest for Nolan Wells in Ocean Spring, Mississippi. Now, there has been no reports or confirmation that the family was involved with the peaceful protest, the mom and dad. There was no sightings for none of the pictures or videos that I have retrieved that shows them out there. But these are just people supporting the family and just taking actions on them up on themselves to say, hey, let's go down there and let's march and let's have a peaceful protest and come together. And there was a lot of people out there. All races was out there. It wasn't just a black people marching. It was a lot of races out there with signs holding up, in support of for Nolan Wells. Now, with that being said, somebody did jump in the comments of one of these videos and had a question wondering why are people even protesting. The person said this: I'm a little confused on why they are calling for a peaceful protest. What actually are they protesting? The investigation isn't complete. No actual cause of death has been determined. Wouldn't a candlelight vigil celebrating Nolan's life and supporting his family be more appropriate? Just wondering. I mean, hey, y'all answer that question in the comments. What you feel? You feel like they should have been doing a candlelight vigil instead of a protest? I mean, it's their prerogative. Like Bobby Brown said, you can do what you want to do. If they want to go out there and march and do a peaceful protest and don't want to do a candlelight vigil, so be it, right? Who's to say what they did was right or wrong? There's no handbook on saying which one should come first, a candlelight vigil before a protest. A lot of emotions is all over the place. It's overflowing. So people are, a little upset and they have questions that they feel like still has not been answered, especially by the Jackson County Sheriff down there in Mississippi. This has been a lot for the mom and dad. They haven't even had the chance to even bury their son yet. And they still been having to deal with a lot. And you can only imagine, what's going to hit them on the day of his homegoing service. I expect a lot of people to be in attendance. I expect Ben Crump, Reverend Al Sharpton, and a host of others to be in attendance down in Mississippi. People are still awaiting the results of the autopsy from not only Jackson County Sheriff's Office in Mississippi, but also the independent autopsy that the Nolan Wells family and Ben Crump also did on their own in DC. So maybe when those results come back, we can get some answers. People can kind of get some idea of what happened to Nolan Wells. Is it accidental drowning or is it something else? Whatever the results may be, people, be prepared that it can either go your way in your favor or it may not go in your favor. So you have to ask yourself, if it doesn't go in your favor, then what? Y'all get in the comments, tell what y'all think.
Reporting live from Hypers Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba. Following the latest surrounding the mysterious death of Nolan Wells, a black teen in Mississippi whose body would be found washed ashore after his friends allegedly would leave him on a remote island, a former Mississippi judge is now speaking up and highlighting some key issues he sees with the case. According to former judge, now attorney Carlos Moore, who served in a municipal court in Mississippi for a little over 6 years, someone should have been arrested by now for several different reasons. Moore, who would end up being pushed from the bench after previously speaking out against racial discrimination on social media while serving as a judge, would take to his Facebook page on Friday night for over 30 minutes to air out questionable behavior he sees with how local officials are handling the case from the inside.
It's time out for playing games. It's time to know the truth from someone well versed in it that has actual experience. I've worn the robe, the black robe, and I've presided over these trials or preliminary hearings, arraignments, and initial appearances. Let's get started. So what do we know? We know after watching the parents' interview and reviewing tons of footage from social media, recounting interviews and statements of alleged witnesses that were on Horn Island, we know that Nolan Wells went to spend the night on July the 3rd with his so-called friends. And he went with those so-called friends to Horn Island on a boat on July the 4th. We know that out of the 4 people on that boat, 1 did not return home. That 1 person was Nolan Wells. The other 3 returned home as normal and said nothing to any member of law enforcement or to the Coast Guard until at least 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th. We know that at least 1 of the so-called friends was found with the phone of Nolan Wells. And we know this based on the testimony of the parents, specifically the mother, who tracked the phone and was led to the home of one of the young men where she retrieved the phone. We also know that based on the mother's testimony that Snapchat, there were no Snapchats from the day, which was very odd for her son. We also know that text messages were deleted. We know that when she was tracking the phone, Life 360 said the phone was one place and Snapchat said it was another place. We know that the boy that had the phone did not voluntarily turn it over or call first. He had to be found through their own investigation. We know that based on witnesses' account, the so-called friends were seen on July the 5th, that Sunday, having breakfast together like nothing had happened. They were not out there searching for their so-called friend. We know that the so-called friends deleted their social media, deactivated their accounts, and scrubbed it clean if the allegations are correct. We know that the young men or the young man that had the car at his house did not willingly turn over the keys. At first, he said that he did not have the keys. He didn't know where they were. Then he, after being pressed by the father, he finally turned over the keys. This is all very suspicious activity. We know that based on an audio recording and some video that Nolan Wells can be heard saying, "Give me my freaking keys." Excuse me, "Give me my freaking phone." And there's been 2 different versions. Some say he said, "Give me my freaking phone," or some say he said, "Give me my MF phone." Regardless, he was asking or demanding his phone. Someone had his phone who did not have permission to have his phone. So the first thing I see, the simplest thing I see, is who had his phone and why? And was that theft of the phone? Sometimes we look at the largest case, we try to get to murder, but the person that took his phone committed a crime right there. There are witnesses to who took that phone. If an affidavit is signed, an arrest warrant could be signed by a judge in Mississippi to go after that person that had that phone unlawfully. We know, based on his own words, Nolan Wells' words while he was alive, he did not give whoever had that phone permission to have that phone. So was that theft? I think if an affidavit is signed, if it was presented to me when I was a judge, I would have signed an arrest warrant for the person for theft of that phone, based on what I've heard. It'd have to be an affidavit format, but if it was presented to me in affidavit format from law enforcement, I would sign the arrest warrant for, at least at this point, theft of the man's phone. We know who had it. We know who didn't report it to the family. The family had to go find it. And we know that Nolan Wells said, give it back to him. And evidently it was not given back to him. Why was that? All of the other things I've stated, you piece it together. Is there enough right now for arrest warrants for murder? That is a good question. I do know at this point there should have been search warrants signed by a judge. Evidence should have been presented to a judge by now. We are nearly 7 days after July the 4th, when he was first reported missing. There should have been evidence submitted by Jackson County law enforcement agents, the sheriff's department specifically, presented to a judge so that search warrants could be signed by the judge. And there needs to be, or should have been, someone questioning the young men, the three so-called friends, and others, and the social media accounts need to be searched by now, or at least a search warrant should have been issued for the appropriate entities to give the law enforcement access to the social media information. That should have been done by now. I'm not telling you what I imagine. I'm telling you what the process usually is when you're trying to do a thorough investigation. And based on what's revealed from a thorough investigation, I do believe once the evidence is secured, it's going to lead, and it should lead, to the arrest of one or more individuals for the murder of Nolan Wells. All of the actions are very suspicious, and right now they lead one to believe that one or more persons could have been involved with the death of Nolan Wells. Right now, we have a lot of unsworn testimony, but once that is put into affidavit format and there is corroborating evidence through social media, computers, or otherwise, I believe that at that point, there will be enough evidence for a judge to sign an arrest warrant. I think critical evidence that's missing right now are the results of the autopsy, the state's autopsy and the independent autopsy. That's going to be critical information. And that alone, or that in connection with what's already known, may be enough to lead to an arrest or arrest. We do know at this point, low-hanging fruit, there should be an investigation about the underage drinking, who provided the alcohol. Those individuals could be immediately arrested based on if there was any sworn testimony presented to a judge. I believe a judge could immediately sign an arrest warrant for those who provided the alcohol to underage individuals. There's a lot of people and a lot of potential crimes, some misdemeanors and felonies that people could be held accountable for. Was there any boating while intoxicated? Who was the captain of the boat? And what did he allow on his boat? If there were any illegal drugs possessed by anyone, drugs are still illegal in Mississippi, or at least they were when I was on the bench. Drug possession, drug use, selling of drugs, dealing drugs, trafficking drugs. We've heard testimony, or allegations at least. I don't think anything's been put in affidavit format yet, about rampant drug use among certain individuals. So there are a lot of things that's been alleged. Once put into the correct format, affidavit-wise, it could lead to arrests for several things, including misdemeanors and maybe even felonies. So there's a lot left to do. We are not rushing to judgment, but I just thought I would come on here and tell you that there definitely should be search warrants issued by now, and there could be arrest warrants for certain crimes issued by now. But for the ultimate crime of murder, it is probably wise to wait to see what the autopsy reveals, or both autopsies reveal, and then parcel that together with all the video footage, all the witness statements taken, any affidavits gathered, and then make a decision, get it all to a judge at that point, for a judge to decide whether or not to sign a warrant for the arrest of one or more individuals. It would be very interesting to see what the autopsy shows. There's also the potential for kidnapping. It needs to be looked at whether or not they can get to murder. Was there kidnapping? Was this young man taken somewhere against his will at any point? Was there abuse of a corpse even after he died? So there's a lot of things that need to be looked at from various law enforcement perspectives. Law enforcement has to do their job and get the information to a judge in the right format before a judge can act. Had I still been on the bench, if I wanted to act, I could not act unilaterally. I would have to wait till law enforcement brought me the evidence in the right format before I could sign an arrest warrant, before I could sign a search warrant. And so that's how the process works. That's how the process works. And so I am happy to be a retired judge. I'm always going to shoot it to you straight with no chaser. Straight with no chaser. I will tell you the God honest truth. I can tell you this one thing. I may have been born at night, but I was not born last night. And one thing about it, you cannot fool the informed. I've been on the inside. I know the process, and we will not sit quietly and allow this to be swept under the rug. I will call your hand. I will call your hand. You are not going to play these people for a fool. You are not going to play these people for a fool. We know the process, and we know what you should be doing. And by God, I plan to make sure you do it, or we're going to call you out each and every time. There is a process. What I do know is, had the roles been reversed, by now, there would likely have been already arrests made. It wouldn't have taken all 6 days, 7 days, whatever amount of days it's going to take. Had the roles been reversed, the wheels of justice spin quickly. Somebody would have been arrested for something by now. But since the roles are what they are, we are expected to be patient, and they're going to cross every T and they're going to dot every I in the investigation before they make a move because of the people that are potentially involved. And that's the way the criminal justice system works, unfortunately. If you have access to power or money, in some instances, if you're the right color or the right hue, you will get the benefit of the doubt. And regardless of all of that, based on what I've heard, not in affidavits I've seen, if the affidavits come to support what I've heard, I do believe, especially with the autopsy, once that is in, and then if we look at the body to see if there were any bruises or anything else, it should lead to the arrest of one or more individuals for murder, for accessory to murder, for conspiracy to commit murder, aggravated assault, kidnapping, and a list of other possible things. But right now, I could say that based on that video evidence of him demanding his phone back, someone could immediately be arrested for theft, wrongful conversion of his property. And once you make that first arrest, you start putting pressure on people. It becomes very serious at that point. No one wants their loved ones sitting behind bars, even jail bars, definitely not prison bars. So it becomes very serious at that point. And there are persons of interest that should have been interviewed by now, should have been questioned, picked up, and taken to the station, even if they didn't voluntarily go. There are certain people that should be classified as suspects by now. They should not just be persons of interest. They should be actual suspects. I do not agree with the sheriff saying right now foul play is not suspected. He should have said right now it is too early to tell one way or the other if he was going to say anything and try to be fair and impartial. Because all of this suspicious stuff, the suspicion and the actions of the individuals themselves lead you to believe that something is awry. And the stories are not adding up. The stories are not adding up. So if you believed that he stayed with a young lady, why were you calling the Coast Guard at 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th? And why did the Coast Guard somehow forget that and then remember it? And it's just very strange. And why would you lawyer up before there is even a body found? If my best friend died by drowning accidentally, the last thing I'm going to be doing is hiring a lawyer. I'm going to be too busy grieving my friend's accidental death. And I would not, in my wildest imagination, ever think that anyone would suspect me of a crime. Accidents happen all of the time. All of the time. And one thing about it, if I had been there when he drowned, I would probably been so exhausted from trying to save him that I wouldn't have time to think about hiring a lawyer or time for my parents to think about hiring a lawyer. And if I am recalling things correctly, I do believe that one of those young people's parents went out to the island. Now, this is a bunch of young folks. I believe one of the mothers got on Facebook and said she went to the island at some point. Why was she there? What was she doing? She was not in their age group. I don't know too many parents that go to a teenage gathering or a young person's gathering. What was she doing? I'm curious to know. I'm not even on the bench anymore, but I'm very curious to know what she was out there doing and who she may have been coaching, or what she may have been an accessory to. It's very odd that she was out there, because I'm sure she was not on the guest list. When I tell you I'm tired, it's because I am. It's time for us to have the knowledge. I got my law degree in 2002. So you're looking at somebody that has nearly a quarter of a century of experience in the legal realm. I spent 6.5 years on the bench. I am not going to mislead you, because too many of us have gone along to get along for too long. I have to meet my makers face in peace. I have to look myself in the mirror. I'm not going to betray you. Enough is enough is enough. I know no one wants to see their loved one go to prison or be held accountable. But if the shoe fits, you might as well get ready to wear it. No one is above the law. And if you can't do your job because you're friends with certain people, you need to recuse yourself. Recuse yourself and let somebody that can do their job correctly do it. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have about the process or anything I just said. There is a criminal justice process, and I know how things should go. And when they don't go as they should, you have to ask yourself why. Again, I'm Judge Carlos Moore. I've been coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been living here now nearly 3 years, but Mississippi is home. The Gulf Coast is home. I know several members of the Wells family and the Wansley family, and again, they have my deepest condolences for their loss. It's tragic. Tragic folks that you trusted your loved one to spend time with. Left an island without having the decency to account for your son. That's sad. I can't imagine the level of pain. And I've heard some people say that the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division should come in and investigate, or the FBI, MBI, who actually has jurisdiction to do this. Those are good questions. We may need more assistance besides the local law enforcement to get down to the bottom of this. If there's anyone that's truly willing to live up to the oath they took, they swore as a law enforcement officer, as a judge, if you're willing to live up to that oath and be unbiased and do a true investigation and consider the facts fairly, please step up. And if you can't do the job fairly, please step aside. This is too serious. You have too many educated people watching this case now, and we're not going to let you get away with murder, potentially with no one being held accountable. We're not going to do it. Whoever did something untoward needs to be held accountable, needs to go before a jury of their peers, and need to let that jury of their peers decide their guilt or innocence. The standards for an arrest warrant is simple, probable cause to believe a crime has been committed. The judge has to have probable cause, more likely than not, that a crime has been committed for an arrest warrant to be signed. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt, it's probable cause, more likely than not. That's a very low burden to meet. And the evidence needs to get to a judge pretty soon. We know that won't be the end all, just because there will be an arrest. At some point, I do believe it's still going to be a long process. The local judge, the municipal judge, as I was, will have to do the arraignment and decide whether or not the individual or individuals get bail and what that bail amount will be. If it's a capital offense or if it's a first-degree murder charge or manslaughter charge or whatever it may be, kidnapping, aggravated assault, that the judge will have to set bail or decide or deny it. Will other persons be flight risk? All that has to be taken into consideration. From there will be a preliminary hearing likely where the evidence will be presented to that local judge, who will get to decide whether or not to bind it over to a grand jury or dismiss the charge. Once it's bound over to a grand jury, it'll be up to the grand jury to decide what to actually indict the individuals for. And then once there is an indictment or indictments are secured, individuals will have to stand trial, or if they plead not guilty, to get to stand trial. Otherwise, if they plead guilty, it could go immediately to sentencing. You would expect, based on what I've seen so far, that there won't be any guilty pleas automatically, and this probably will go to trial. You have contradicting stories. You have Katie that's saying one thing. You have the young man that's saying another. I see Katie has not lawyered up, from what I have been told, and she's been speaking freely, and her family's been speaking freely. Whereas I understand that some others have decided not to speak to the press and have lawyered up. And people are entitled in this country. You are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. There's nothing wrong with lawyering up. In fact, if it was my family, I would advise my family to remain quiet too. That's what lawyers do. We advise them to remain quiet. They have a right to remain quiet. And a lot of times you remain quiet for good reason, because anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. But people also have a right to be suspicious of why individuals lawyered up so fast. Why are they not talking? This is serious. It's serious business. People's potential freedom are on the line, and somebody has lost their life. Someone has lost their life. At least the people that's alive still have a fighting chance. You never know what a jury in Mississippi will do. We do know that no one ever was held accountable for Emmett Till's murder, despite the evidence, the overwhelming evidence. No one was ever held accountable. I can only hope and pray that in 2026, 2027, should the facts be presented to a jury of peers, that it'll be given reasonable consideration, and that if the facts are proven beyond a reasonable doubt, that the individuals that may soon be arrested and tried for the death, for their role in the death of Nolan Wells, will be held accountable. That's all we can hope and pray for, and we will have to live with whatever the jury's verdict is, because in this country, if you go through the entire process, we live with the verdict of the jury. It has to be a unanimous verdict, and they get to decide guilt or an acquittal. And if they cannot agree, it's a hung jury, and the prosecution gets to decide if they try the case again. They can continue to try it again until they get a unanimous decision one way or the other. So it's going to be a long road ahead. Keep the Wells and Wansley's family in your prayers. They have to deal with all of this in a very public light. They are not allowed to grieve privately because of the very public nature of this death. And so it's a lot to process. One day your life is going as normal, and the next day you are thrown in the limelight. But I applaud the parents for standing together and fighting for answers. And they have been very good. They are not accusing anybody of anything. They just simply want answers. And once those answers are given and properly investigated, they are hoping that the right thing is done. And that's my hope too. Whatever the evidence leads to, as long as there has been a thorough investigation, I'm willing to accept that. But I do not want anyone getting any favoritism. I want a complete, thorough investigation. And I'm glad another independent investigation is going alongside the law enforcement investigation. Again, I had the privilege of serving the great people of Mississippi, because the people of Mississippi, for a large part, certain people I consider great in Mississippi. I used to call the state great. I no longer will refer to it as a great state of Mississippi because it still has a lot of growing to do. It's not a place that I feel comfortable living any longer and raising my family. And I would encourage any of my friends to move to Mississippi in its current configuration. It's a dangerous place. It's a dangerous place with a deep-seated racism. And they are known to try to keep Black people in their place. So no matter what your socioeconomic status is as a Black person in Mississippi, they are known to try to keep you in your place. And one thing about me, I decided where my place was. No one else got to decide where that place was. And my place was equal with theirs. And in my eyes, I was always equal, never beneath. My parents raised me to believe you are no better than anyone and you are no worse than anyone. You are equal. I believe that, and I do believe that's how we all should be treated. Equal justice under the law. And all men are created equal, and we are endowed with unalienable rights. I believe that. And America will be forced to live up to his promise. It will be forced to live up to his promise. I could go on and on, but I have been here to express from my viewpoint the perch that I had as one who wore the robe in not one, but 2 jurisdictions in Mississippi, where I signed countless search warrants and arrest warrants. I know the process, and I'm happy to have enlightened you on tonight. Please share this with your friends. Let them hear it from the horse's mouth, because people will have you to believe that you're crazy based on your suspicions. A lot of your suspicions and what you're saying, you're dead on, you're dead right. You're hitting the nail on the head. Keep asking the questions, keep prodding. And if you ever want to know if you're on the right track, I'm just a chat or email away.
With me, but I'm thugging it out. Before I get some of the questions and some of you guys doing our part by discussing a lot of these things, getting eyes and ears on it from my perspective as well. But there's a lot of revelations coming out with this case. And it's looking very funny style with these friends and these people in this little town. It's just some real funny style stuff. The whole missing phone thing. Y'all heard about the whole missing phone situation? Because for those who don't know, Nolan Wells, Black kid, teenager, went out on a boat with his white buddies. They went to some little party island out there off the coast of Mississippi. His white buddies came back without him, talking about they assumed that he left with this girl he was talking to, but they had his phone with them, which was very odd. I always thought that was odd. And they didn't know nothing. So now Nolan's mom has come out and said, listen, this theory, you know, about Nolan's friends giving the family the phone back. No, they not only did they leave with his phone, from what I'm understanding, they left with his phone and his keys. And they didn't proactively hand that phone over to the family. The family, Nolan's mother, they used a tracking app to locate the phone. The family had to find it. They had to go and retrieve it. Okay, that's significant. And once they recovered the phone, they saw that text messages had been wiped off the phone. They also said that Nolan had some active Snapchat accounts, Snapchat. Both were scrubbed of all the pictures and the saved messages. So now the family's going to try to bring in some digital forensic experts to try to recover that data. All right. Also, there was a video from another bystander from that island that they were on. There was an argument where Nolan was arguing with somebody, and he was explicitly saying, hey, man, give me my phone back. Give me my phone back. So that undercuts the narrative that he willingly left his belongings with his friend. You see? Those white buddies of his, they told investigators that Nolan stayed behind because he was talking to this chick. Now, the legal team stated that when investigators spoke to that same woman, her account contradicted the friend story. She said that Nolan explicitly told her he was getting back on the boat with his friends for the ride home. Shit. Now, the family, they're obviously frustrated with the local authorities and how they're handling this thing. So they're getting an independent autopsy. They had the body flown to Washington, D.C. And a former chief medical examiner is going to do an independent autopsy. My good brother, Colin Kaepernick, is funding that, by the way. Shout out to Colin Kaepernick. That's my brother. He is a rider. Round of applause for Cap. He's funding that independent autopsy. He's helping the family out with that. That's a beautiful thing. But man, these folks are getting on code with this stuff. When something happens to us around the suspected white supremacists, boy, they get on code. Just the other day, the police came out talking about, hey, yeah, we haven't seen any evidence of a crime as far as this case. Now, this was like a day after the damn body was discovered. How the hell how could you conclude there's no evidence of a crime? It ain't really been no thorough autopsy yet. How do you know that there's not no evidence of a crime? Who have you interviewed? Because some of the public statements that we've seen from some of these people are contradictory. So that's bullshit. But again, they're getting all on code with each other. That's how white supremacy works, ladies and gentlemen. I want y'all to really, really understand how they get on code with each other. And it's like subconsciously, it's an instinctual, institutional solidarity that they get on. Whenever an incident happens involving some kind of potential wrongdoing by white individuals against the black victim, they don't need a formal meeting or a signed memo for the cover-up to begin. White media, law enforcement, the judicial system, all the parties involved, they get on code through osmosis, man. It's like deeply ingrained. It's a generational reflex where you protect the dominant group's collective innocence. You know what I'm saying? You gotta protect that. You see, it's heavy. It is heavy. And they immediately humanize all of the white participants. You see, there's a sharp contrast in how the parties are framed right out the gate. Before any forensic evidence is finalized, the system works to humanize the white suspect. Well, these are good kids. They're just partying. They're just regular teenagers. They're cooperative friends, while they devalue the black victim if they can. So they've been almost, if you look at the media, almost trying to paint Nolan's death as a result of some kind of voluntary, reckless decision to stay behind. Yeah. Because what they really want to try to frame it is like he stayed behind talking to this girl and got drunk and drowned. That's how they seem like they're trying to play this thing, but that don't add up. Yeah. And the race soldiers, they're the first line of defense. The police, they act as gatekeepers of the narrative. You know, they just step out here and announce within a couple of days that no foul play is suspected is while you're in the middle of an investigation. Why would you even say that? You don't say that. Dude, you say that when all of the participants are white. That's when you say it. You see? They're sending little messages to each other. So this is why the family, shout out to the family by saying, hey man, some of this stuff looks funny style. And I know the media, they're trying to put the family in a box. They're asking the family, so do you think this was about race? And the family wants to be cool. I get it. You don't want to seem too radical because you know how these people will doubly get on code and just not do anything. So they want to appear neutral, and I get that. I know they asked his dad, did he think race had anything to do with it? And his dad kind of danced around. He really didn't answer it, and I get it. I get it. I would have said, hell yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it is. But that's just me. I'm radical with the shit. You understand? But you got to understand, well, the media, the way they are talking about this case and not talking about certain things. Notice how the media, they are not bringing up the identities of none of the white kids that were around this dude. Have y'all noticed that? These were adults, by the way. These were legally adults. The white media acts like these white people don't exist. You understand? They're treating all of the white people that was on that island like classified state secrets, boy. That's not journalistic integrity. They are weaponizing the anonymity of these people to shield them from public scrutiny and accountability before the real investigation begins. These folks have sat up here and scrubbed their social media. The white media, they're not even mentioning these people. They just talk about Nolan as if just, you know, he just had an accident or something. Oh, it was just so tragic what happened to Nolan. Oh, a lot of people want answers. Oh, Nolan. Y'all not saying nothing about all of those people that were with him? Nothing? No, because we know what the double standard would be if it were, again, a bunch of black people and a white person end up missing. They had a white buddy and they came back and the white buddy ended up unalive. The media would be scorched earth on niggas. Them black teens would be named instantly. Their faces would be plastered on every damn network. Their families' names, jobs, social security numbers would be plastered every damn where. You would know everything about them. They would be dissected. Their social media histories would be dissected for any flaw. The mainstream media would immediately frame them as the prime suspects in a damn homicide, and y'all know it. They're acting like these white kids that were around Nolan, like they just didn't exist at all. They're not saying anything about them. Yeah? And that's by design. They're really getting on code with this thing. You see? And the thing is, if they refuse to investigate even the name of the white teens involved, they're actively erasing them from the crime scene narrative. Every time they mention them, it's always the cooperative friends, his buddies, his teammates, his friends. They always mention them in a very positive connotation. I want y'all to notice that. The media is being the public relations shield for them. They are ensuring that the general public don't view them as suspects who suspiciously abandon a black friend on an island while they have his phone and his damn keys that had to be tracked down. Just tell the shit like it is. They're protecting them just like they protected Austin Metcalf's ass. Because now we see in some of these affidavits that Metcalf has a history of racism, had a history of bullying. Him and his brother were arrested for racist graffiti. The mainstream media knew this. They didn't report it. You see? They knew this. So we got to see the game, how it's played. These people really get on code, and we should be on code too, by the way. This is what being on code is about. But we have a righteous justice claim to be on code. I'm not saying be on code for some janky, nefarious shit, but stay on code for righteous justice. Let me get the family in here. Adam Smith, and y'all excuse me, I'm chewing a throat lozenge. Mr. Adam, what's up, Adam? Mr. Adam, unmute your microphone, sir. Adam didn't want to unmute that mic. Let's get the solution in the building. Y'all raise your hands if y'all want to get on. We got a lot of people in here. Raise your hands. Don't be in here bullshitting. I'll stop this bitch and take my ass over to TikTok with them crazy niggas. So y'all get it together. What's up, Solution?
What's up, bro? I was calling to check up on you. Make sure you was good. Did you get your stuff in the mail?
Yes, I did. And I'm feeling much, much better. I got it this morning. I took 2 today and feeling much, much better.
There we go, brother. That's all I wanted. Make sure my brother's good.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, he recommended some this herbal thing. I got it right here. It's called Source Naturals Wellness Formula, Advanced Immune Support. Yeah, this helped me out a lot, man. Got a lot of that congestion out of my chest. So yeah, it got me right. Let me see. Let's get Brittany. Y'all ready? Let's get these hands up, family. We got a lot of folks in here. Get these hands up. Miss Brittany, how you doing, beloved? Brittany?
Oh, my mic was muted.
There you go. I hear you now. What's up with you, dear?
I'm good. I just wanted to say that I'm glad that his parents are not just letting them, the police and the media just say like, oh, he drowned. You know what I'm saying? They're actually like being proactive and, trying to, see what happened to their son. That's all. I was listening to his dad earlier this morning saying like, they lied to him, the guys that had his keys and, everything he had to go to get his keys. And it just sounds like a bunch of BS. So
wow,
that's all. I'm just glad they not laying down taking it. So that's it.
Thank you, beloved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's deep, man. It's deep. All stare. What's up, brother? All is stare. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. What's up, all stare? Come on, brother. Let's get your phone game together. All right, all stare. While we're waiting on all stare, let's get Israelite in the building.
Yo, what up, Tariq? How you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother. How you doing, Israelite?
Okay, cool, man. I'm good, man. Glad you're feeling better. So, man, definitely I want to talk about this situation with this Nolan cat, man. It's, to be honest, we done seen this way too much. And to the point of us, these people should have known this.
Yeah.
There's no reason why he should be out with a bunch of white people with nobody else that looks like him out there at some lake or something. Like, what do you expect to happen? You think they're gonna treat him like he one of the boys?
Yeah.
It's to the point to where, we really got to wake up. We living in some times where these people are gonna come at us with everything they got because they know that they dying out. Like you've been saying the whole time, their population is dwindling.
Oh yeah.
So if they dying out, they're gonna do whatever they got to do to make sure that they do not want us to gain power.
Right.
Put it that way. So it's like y'all really got to understand and teach your kids to basically stay away from these people. Like you don't even need doing commerce with them. That's all we need to do. Commerce. That's it.
Yeah.
After you go home from work, school, whatever, you stay to yourself, stay to your family. That's it. I'm gonna land right there, Tariq.
My man, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Let's try Miss Tricia Springs. Miss Tricia? Miss Tricia Springs. Over there looking like Angela Winbush. Trisha, let's get her.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tariq. My mic was off.
There you go. How you doing, beloved?
Hey, Tariq. FBA all day.
Yes, ma'am. How you been?
I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Oh, love that. Love it.
So I'm finally glad I got a chance to get on with you. I wanted to tell you I've been a fan since Hidden Colors 1. I share all the information with anyone who's ready to receive it. My family, my children, everybody. I'm just so excited to talk to you. But, you know, with this Nolan Wells situation, you know, it got me to thinking. You know, back
Hold on.
in the 50s and 60s.
I have to have you call back because I can barely hear you. The reception is very, very bad. So if I can barely hear you, I know the audience can't hear you. So let me have you call back with a better reception so I can hear you. I just simply can't hear what you were saying, dear. All Stare, what's up, man? All Stare, Ollie Stare. Okay, y'all can't listen. Listen, family.
Can you hear me now, brother?
I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah. What's going on, brother Flex? How you doing? There's another story that happened that just recently happened out in Michigan where a brother who was hanging out with some friends at a concert was found hanged at a tree. This was during at the same time where this other incident that was going on that we were talking about nationally and everything else. This story needs to be investigated as well. I just posted it just a moment ago, and it's gotten very little attention around the national media. So something's really happening right now where some of these black men, mainly black males, who are hanging out with these white dudes and they're by themselves and everything else, and they're found dead.
Yeah, man. This is really happening a lot, and this is something that we simply can't ignore. And some of the people in the dominant society getting offended, you're gonna have to be offended because we're suspicious. This is too much of a damn pattern where black folks hang out with your white buddies and you end up unalive, and then nobody is prosecuted. That's the thing. Ain't nobody getting prosecuted. Let's try FBA Cole.
What's poppin', Flex?
What's up, man? How you doing, fam?
Man, I'm chilling, man. We in Florida with it, FBA all day.
Yes, sir. How's everything out there in Florida?
Man, it's good, man. It's good, man. We getting these tethers at the bay. We keeping them at the bay down here.
Yes, sir.
But no, I wanted to chime in because I lost a buddy the same exact way, man. A friend of mine, classmate, he turned up missing. I think he was we were in our 20s when it happened.
Yeah.
And he went hanging out with some white boys. He would always do that. He always hung out with white boys his whole life. But he would come around us when it's time to play basketball. He'll be with the fellas or whatever. But he went one time and he never came back from the lake. Everybody said he drowned. The same thing. Same exact thing.
Wow. Yeah, we got to be careful out here in these streets. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Rory, what's up, Rory?
What's going on, Tariq? I just want to say one thing real quick, brother. The most important thing that happened is they got his remains out of the state of Mississippi.
Yes.
I'm going to land my plane. With that, brother.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and shout out to Colin Kaepernick. That's absolutely true. What's up, party?
Yo, what's up? What's up, Flex? How you feel?
I'm good, man. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Can't complain, man. Hey, yo, this is for all the college brothers out there, bro. Like I said, I used to hang out in the frat house. They's always invite us, man. You know, they thought we was real cool. But, man, we had a pack, bro. Yo, you go to the frat house on college campuses, bro, you go 4-5 deep, my nigga.
Oh, yeah.
And then on top of that, we used to roll with a 6'7" nigga that was an O-lineman. We was like, yo, we got Mark Henry Big Show up in this. So if you can find somebody like that to roll with you, you'll be all right. If you get that invite, you want to have a little fun, yo, make sure you got somebody, you know, some fellas with you who can hold some weight and y'all got each other back. And I land my plane.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man, back in the day, man, we used to roll deep. That's just, back in the single days when we were single, the brothers, man, we had a whole crew and we rolled deep. And like I said, if 6 of us show up, 6 of us are going to leave. All that, we're going to leave somebody behind. That's suspicious right there. Who does that? You know what I'm saying? Who does that? You don't leave none of the homies behind. I mean, he's going to leave with a girl or whatever. Even that's kind of suspicious too. You know what I'm saying? If you got some homies and they want to roll out with a chick or whatever, you're going to question that too. Because, we know how scandalous people are. So like, yo, where she live, are you going to be safe? We're still going to make sure the homie is safe. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that didn't even sound right. That just didn't sound right. So yeah, people are justified in being very suspicious about that situation. Now let me get Miss Trisha up again. Let's try Miss Trisha one more time. Miss Trisha, you got your phone sounding better? There he is. Well, you want some that?
I'm sorry about that. I had them Timu headphones on, like you say.
Send them shits back and get them $7 back.
Well, I'm so excited to talk to you. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, you remember back in the 50s and the 60s, I was thinking, they hanging some of us in the trees, but it's a lot of the lakes and pools and things like that where these children are like Nolan Wells, situations and everything. And I say all that to say, back then in the 50s and 60s, they would put acid in the pool, didn't even want us in the pool.
Oh, yeah.
But now it seems at days, the children are being drowned in the pools, coming up missing around lakes. Do you understand where I'm going with that? It's just peculiar to me, this thing about the water. It's just, I was just thinking about that, but I dropped down. I was just something I was thinking about and wanted to see if you had any thoughts about it as well.
All right, well, thank you so much, beloved. I'm going to touch on that in a second. Let me get some more folks in, though. Zattern, what's up, Zattern?
What up, Rick? Thanks for letting me up, man. How you been, bro?
Man, how you been, fam?
Good, bro. But this news is very strange. Like you're saying, bro. And Carmelo Anthony was right, man. He looks right more and more every day, though. But I got a quick story though. It's kind of personal, but both my brothers, they kind of had some white friends that they were like very attached to for some reason, and our family, we were very, very wary of them. Our mom would be like, be careful about that. We don't really do that.
Yeah.
And now later down the line, 10 years later, now these dudes are just like, I don't know, bro. Something happened, bro. Like something happened that they won't tell us. But just it's a sad, man. It's a sad situation, though. But that stuff is true. We just always got to watch out for them and just watch your back, y'all.
Absolutely.
Thanks for letting me up, though, Rick, man.
Thank you, man. But yeah, the sister mentioned the water thing. I want y'all to understand something. Okay, let's open up this door and get deep with it. Let's get deep with it. You got to understand the white supremacists, man, are vampires. These people are vampires. They have to leech off energy sources of people with soul. That's us. So a lot of the killings that they've done with us have been very ritualistic over the years. All that lynching, people just getting food and picnic tables and all that's gathering by the thousands to watch a Black person get hung up in a tree and then chopped up and cut up and body parts passed around to these people. This is who they are. They would make postcards about this. You understand? This is who we're dealing with. And understand they destroyed a lot of Black towns by putting them underwater. The sister mentioned water. I was just in Lake Lanier a couple of weeks ago, paying homage to the ancestors there because that's Under Lake Lanier is a black town called Oscarville that they flooded. There's another black town in Alabama that they flooded. There was a black town up in, I think, Oregon that they flooded. This was a very common thing for them to flood black towns. A lot of folks don't know this. They would flood black towns. A lot of black towns would be underwater. Also, another thing, the white supremacists would build things, some of their institutions, on top of black burial grounds. And I think that was very deliberate because schools and universities are built on black burial grounds. Up in New York, a lot of the institutions were built on black burial grounds. The World Trade Center, remember when it went down after the 9/11 attacks, underneath the damn World Trade was a damn slave ship. Look up what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Every time they do some kind of excavation somewhere for a building, it's like a black burial ground somewhere. You never see these white burial grounds. You notice that? They always dig up something. You don't really see white burial grounds. But every time they start digging around somewhere, doing some renovations, they pull us up out the goddamn ground. So they're deliberately building these institutions on top of us to further siphon off our damn energy. I think they're doing this shit to literally siphon off our energy. These people can't really do anything without our energy, family. Think about it. What do these white supremacists do online all day? They sit around talking about us. All they do is sit up talking about us. They on 4chan talking about us all day. Twitter talking about us all day. TikTok talking about us all day. That's literally all they do. Sharing memes about us. It's a vampire type energy. Now let me tie this into what's going on with all of these deaths of black people, these mysterious deaths, especially by water, and these things are not getting solved. Family, could this be some initiations? Because understand something. Law enforcement, they got white supremacist deputy gangs in law enforcement. We know this for a fact. All right? You guys are aware of that. Especially out here in California, there was a real big scandal with the white supremacist groups within law enforcement. And they had little rituals where you could get higher rankings within these organizations if you killed somebody. Okay? You got a certain tattoo if you could kill somebody as a law enforcement. So they were incentivizing each other. Also, to get into some of these Aryan Nation groups and some of these other white supremacist groups, they have initiations where you have to unalive a black person. Y'all remember the sister up in the Bay Area who got unalived on that subway? Go look at some of my tweets about that. I can't think of the sister's name now, but look up some of my tweets about that. Please look up my tweets. This was years ago, and I broke down the way the suspect changed clothes. He went and put on a certain outfit. He put on some tan pants and some black shoes with white laces. The average person can't catch that, but I study these white supremacist groups. That's like attire that the Aryan Nation and the skinheads wear. Black shoes with white laces to kind of let each other know who's who. It's like almost gang paraphernalia to a certain degree. And we would see a lot of these mass shootings where these people would have on tan pants, black shoes, and white laces. Those were like initiation killings. See, in order to get in with these groups, to be locked in with them, you gotta catch a body to let them know how serious and committed you are to the group. It's like you want to talk about blood in. See, they make it seem like black gangs got that blood in, blood out. No, black gangs, hell, if you grew up with a nigga, you can be a Crip with him. If you went to school with a cat, you can be a blood with him. It ain't blood in, blood out. No. With some of these white supremacist gangs, you got to catch a body because that's how serious they are. See, they have a blood in initiation. You got to commit a violent act against the Black person. So that permanently binds the recruit to the group by making them an accomplice to a severe felony. So once that act is committed, that recruit loses, you ain't got no legal protection no more. You crossed a legal and moral point of no return. So now you have a absolute loyalty out of necessity, and you have a mutual legal vulnerability. You see what I'm saying? And performative violence, that's organizational currency. The Proud Boys do that too, by the way. The Proud Boys, you got to get into a fight in order to get in with the Proud Boys, which is the white supremacist group. That's who Rittenhouse was out there with. Don't ever forget. He was out there throwing up the little white supremacist hand signals with the Proud Boys. Don't ever forget that. You understand? Don't ever forget that. But the thing is, man, that lone wolf myth, that's a strategic shield. When these targeted killings occur, law enforcement and the media, they always try to label these people as lone wolves or attribute the violence to mental illness or something like that. And that's a strategic shield for the broader organization. Because again, law enforcement is clicked in with these people too. You see? So we got to see what's really going on with these damn weird killings that's happening out here. Who's all in on it? You know? Are these initiations? What's up, Miss Ice? Who was that?
My bad. Hey, what's going on, Flex?
What's going on, man? You good, brother?
Man, yes, sir. Doing real good. Man, it's a pleasure to speak to you.
Absolutely, man. Where you from, fam?
Man, I'm down here in Texas, in Houston, Texas, to be exact.
Oh.
So my whole family from down here. Well, my daddy's side from Alabama. But yeah, we got people down here in Texas and up there in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, cool. Love that. So what's on your mind, brother?
Man, it's I would have never called up. I would have just continued listening, continue watching the YouTube videos. But man, something told me to call. I cannot get. Okay. My mama always told us this story growing up. It's we got a church member. Damn, I can't think of her name right now. But I promise the story is in the paper. I can look up the names. I can call her. I got 3 sisters. She told us all this story. It's I'm not too familiar with the initiations of the gangs and everything, but I promise you, she said that one of her best friends went to our church. Well, her father was murdered by some water by a white man, and they caught the white man, and he actually went to jail.
Okay.
And he ended up confessing because he said that he couldn't sleep. You know how they do this thing. I know that that's a heavy toll on the soul.
Yeah.
And he said that his father pushed him to do it, said that he wasn't a man until he killed a nigga.
Damn.
And that always stuck with me and my family. I'm just being real. This one of these stories that she tell all the time where she don't really realize she continuing telling the story after a couple years. So yeah, man, it stuck with her. And if I have to call her, if I have to get the name of the man, it'll be nothing to get. It'll be nothing to get in DM you.
Wow, my man. That's heavy, man. But thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Nikki the God, what's up, Nikki? Nikki, where you at, beloved?
I'm right here. Good evening.
Hey, dear, what's going on?
Hey, sorry if you can't hear me well. Okay, so in an interview today, I saw Nolan Wells's father when asked if he believed that the issue was about race, and he says that he said that he didn't want to believe it was about race. So, and I know that some people are upset, and normally a codified way for us to respond is to pull back when people don't want to identify what happened to them as a race issue. But right now we haven't, we have so many people who are on code.
Yeah.
And who are addressing these lynchings and are addressing the white supremacist system, that I think it's more than Nolan Wells and his parents, whether they want to identify it as race. And I normally, just like I said, I normally say, hey, once they don't want to say that, I'm out. But this time, I think we need to keep addressing these weird lynchings that keep occurring, because it's everybody's seeing it now. It's on a jumbo screen. So we have to keep, it's my opinion that we keep addressing it.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Nikki. Yes, we do. We got to keep addressing that. Culture. What's up, Culture?
What's up, Tyreek? I'm just calling in because I'm wondering, have you found out whether or not Nolan's dad is FBA or is he like of an immigrant background?
I don't know. There's been,
because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, there's been some speculation about it, but nobody's given any proof. I don't know where he's from exactly. But yeah, somebody said he was Caribbean. I don't know, because there's no proof. People just kind of be saying stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's all I had, man. I know you've been covering it extensively, so I know if anybody had the answer, it'll be you.
Yes, me. But thank you so much.
For sure.
The Tethernator in the building. The Tethernator, where you at, bro? Tethernator. Mr. Tethernator, where you at, fam?
What's going on, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I had a question about the Nolan case.
Yes, go ahead, bro.
I thought that Benjamin Crunk was only a civil rights lawyer.
Yeah, civil rights lawyer, you can still litigate other things, kind of negotiate settlements and things like that. And this case does kind of fall under civil rights, because this was potentially a race crime. So this is why there's a major investigation right now.
Okay, I'll land there.
There you go, my man.
All right,
Legendary Tethernator. Let me get Queen Mother Empress in the building to speak on this. Queen Mother Empress, are you in here, dear? Let's get her phone revved up to get Queen Mother Empress in here. It might take her phone a little minute to rev up while we're waiting on Queen. All right, Miss Empress. Yes.
You know, I'm walking mines down next Friday. I hope you be on X to give me my birthday gift of your presence.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's get into the heart of what's going on. The reason many of these murders are happening, this is the year of the fire horse. And if you go back in time, 1966 was the fire horse, 67 was the fire sheep year. Many brutal murders by way of water, by way of lynching was prominent. And so it has retrograded itself back into modern time. This is all about initiation and blood sacrificial offers. See, they are demonic. They will take your blood and do rituals with it. But what they don't realize, with Mercury being in retrograde and is in Cancer, Cancer is the mother of the zodiac. The mother will never forget what you did to the offspring. It'd be 50 years from now, your offspring gonna pay that debt. That being said, on down the road, once Mercury goes direct on the 23rd of July, takes 10, 11 days for the effect to be off otherwise. You're gonna see more evidence because they took his phone and wiped it clean. But what they're not expecting, records can be traced 2 years back, whether you wipe it clean or not. So they're going to get exposed. And to do this is sending a symbolic symbol to foundational Black Americans. We will take your life. Here's the setup that they're now going to be doing, Tariq. I'm going to befriend the Black community, win their confidence that we're some of the safe colonizers. We'll invite them in open, public events where as many Blacks, building up your confidence. Later on, we'll come and annihilate the moms, the children. That's going to be your future coming. This is just getting started. So it's more to come. You're on to the exact point, Tariq. Me and your mind is thinking exactly alike. This is rituals.
Yes.
But this time, every man and woman involved, including their children, is going to answer for it. What I don't like is the pressuring of onto the young man's family that was left in the water. What do you feel is a race issue? Notice that the white folks are getting heavy, not cold, very stuff. And when many foundational Black Americans are pulling away and saying, hey, we don't want to be your friend anymore because we know you're a serpent. If I can't trust you not to put a rope around my neck over the last 600 years, what makes you think the offspring is going to change? That demonic energy of them celebrating in crowds and making pictures and postcards, that's still in their DNA. That's a part of their lineage. And so delineation is the key. Stay out of these people's beds. Do not allow your children to be friends. You can be business cordial. Hey, how are you today? That don't mean that I'm coming to your house. You never come into mine. You don't even go to functions and trust these people. I want to add this final point before I land. You made a point of, say, 6 guys come into a party together. They go out together. The setup will be send women. It can be foundational or non-foundational. Get you to leave the party. You think you're going to go and get you some sexual activity so that they can off the one they're really after. That's the next setup. They will use women as a part of the tool in assassination. 2026, all of 2027 is getting ready to be a bloodbath because it's fire element and fire is violent. Fire don't forget what you did. It retrogrades itself constantly back to your original origins. And this is only a sample. Be careful out here, family. Much Detroit love. Oh, brother, take your herbs.
Yes, absolutely.
And I want you to be on Red Clover Blossom. I want you to do burdock mullein. This pulls inflammation out the chest, clears the nasal passages. I love you. I want to talk with you next week on my birthday.
Absolutely, we will. Thank you so much, beloved. We'll do that. That's Queen Mother Empress. Respect to her. Aminul, I can't pronounce your name, sir. Aminuli. Am I pronouncing your name right, sir? Aminul. What is your name, sir? Hop on. All right, you look like a Punjabi gentleman. So while we're waiting on you, let's get Scotty. Scotty in the building. What's up, Scott?
What's going on with your family? How everybody holding up?
We good, man. How you doing, fam?
I'm doing all right, man. I saw that video earlier yesterday around the 1 minute mark. I don't know if it was ABC or CBS, when he said, "My son didn't see color."
Oh yeah, yeah,
That disturbed me extremely. I just it was like, oh man, you he said, I don't want to say he set his son up, but he just didn't inform his son because maybe he just didn't know.
yeah, yeah.
Because I don't want to compare, but it's kind of difficult not to. I'm listening to when the Carmelo Anthony father and mother, how they were speaking and how some of the things that they were saying, and I'm kind of like, hey man, where y'all from, man? Not trying to throw them under, but just listening to their responses to some of the questions and how they seem to be a little just ignorant to the rules of society and how it works when you live around a dominant society.
Yeah.
And now I'm listening to this couple and how they're speaking, and I'm like, okay, the father is saying some things, five leave together, five come back, which is true. But sometimes we do slide off. We got a little lady, but like you touched on, hey man, where she at? Where she live at? What, east side of Cleveland, west side of Cleveland? Where at? Oh, okay, cool. We still keep in
Right.
contact. But then for them to say, yeah, I don't want to make it, or I don't want to believe it was about race, and my son didn't see color. That didn't sit right with me. And Nikki, the guy, salute to her. I was a little drawn back.
Yeah.
I didn't fully pull back all the way, but I was kind of like, oh man, come on, man. That's all I wanted to say, man. Be one, family. Everybody love. Much love, respect.
All right, Lawrence. What's up, Lawrence? Unmute your mic, sir. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence, if you can unmute your mic, that'd be great, Mr. Lawrence. The floor is yours, Mr. Lawrence. All right. Mr. Lawrence. He ain't saying nothing, so let's get Hayes. Hayes, hop on in, because Lawrence ain't saying nothing. Hayes. While we wait on Hayes, let's get FBA Trade Day. Hold on. Get FBA Trade Day in the building. Lawrence, how come you didn't say nothing, Lawrence? Lawrence, unmute your microphone if you want to say something. You made a request. If you want to say something, hop on. Trey Day, what's up, Trey Day?
What's up, Tariq, man? Chilling. Man, I just want to say something about this Nolan Wells thing. As a FPA, one thing my grandmother always told me and my little brother since we was kids is, don't y'all never go fishing or swimming with no white boys, because y'all gonna end up drowning and ain't nobody gonna know what happened to you. And she would just repeat that as banter and stuff, and we would kind of ignore it and stuff because we was little kids and stuff. But I lost a friend when I was like 22 years old, because he went to a quarry here in Kentucky with some white boys and he ended up drowning and dying.
Wow.
And that's when I realized, nah, that's true. And I feel like his father did him a disservice. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, you got too many parents today. They out here trying to, believe shit is sweet and tell their kids the same thing. And it's like, no, we at war. What decade did this war between these white supremacists end? It didn't end in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Every decade they've done stuff to let us know it's still on. So why are you not telling your kids that? Why are you telling them it's okay to go hang out with white folk like that? But, I ain't going to be up on him too bad because he lost a son. But, that just kind of hits me too. But I'll end with that.
Yo, Slime City.
Yeah.
What's up, Slime? Where you from, man?
From Nigeria.
There you go. You still in Nigeria or you over here?
Yeah. I'm still in Nigeria.
What part of Nigeria are you in?
In West Africa.
I know it's in West Africa, but what city in Nigeria? Lagos, where?
If you heard of Lagos City?
I heard of Lagos.
Yeah, that was about chilling.
So what's on your mind, Slime City?
I just came out here to see you guys talking about some shit. Just want to say full up,
You will say who? Okay, this brother. But that phone was hella janky. All right, G Style. Just call it with that janky ass phone. It's flicking. Meerkat calls on it. What's up, G Style?
Peace, Tariq. What's up? How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Good to speak to you. I appreciate everything you do for the FBA family. I'm an FBA from New York.
Love that.
You know, standing 10 toes down.
Yes, sir.
I'm just gonna be real quick. I think when we see the Carmelo Anthony case and you look at this case, you know, it's a little bit, you know, some similarities as in dudes being, you know, surrounded by these white tee supremacists. And, you know, Carmelo had more of that FBA mind state where it's like, look, I'm gonna get up out of here and explain myself later. I'm not gonna sit here and be trapped and let no white tee supremacists take me out.
Right.
I'm gonna get up out of here on my own terms. So when you look at the way Carmelo handled things, at least he got another day to fight for his freedom.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? As opposed to what happened with Nolan. We don't know exactly what happened, but come on, anybody could tell that was foul play.
Oh yeah.
You know, you don't just, you know, you're the only black person that go on a boat trip and you're the only person that don't come back.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of here. This ain't no horror movie, man. Come on, we got more common sense than that. We all know what's up with that, man. And that's all I really wanted to say.
Facts. My man, thank you so much, bro.
No doubt.
Indeed. Let's get MOB.
What's up, brother Tariq?
Hey, brother, how are you, MOB?
Doing good, man. Just chilling out here. I wanted to say one thing. It's crazy because the brother that brought up how Nolan Wood's father is Karen Bean. You see how Barack Obama starting to like talk about it, and it's like, you know, he was quiet with the Carmelo case. He didn't really say nothing about that.
Oh yeah.
And then I just wanted to also bring up how that ICE shooting in Houston with that Mexican, because that's where I'm from. I'm in Houston right now. With that Hispanic, it's like all of them getting on code, even the white folks on Facebook. They all standing with them. I'm like, man, when it came to us, it just be a whole demonic and just talking bad and just it's crazy how on code all of them get on, even the other ethnicities, man. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
My man, appreciate you. Charlie Kirk's ghost, the ghost of Charlie.
Hey, what's good, brother? What's good, family?
I'm good, man. How you doing, fam?
Man, doing pretty solid right now.
What's on your mind?
And I wanted to ask that question. Do you still remember the case in LA with Matrice Richardson and how she went missing after being released at midnight from that sheriff department in Malibu?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that mysterious death that happened to her. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot all the details, but I kind of remember that. Right. Festus, well, trying to get Festus. Let's get Twizzle up in here from the town. Let's get Twizzle from the town in here.
What's up with the player,
I'm
man?
good, Twizzle. How you been, brother?
You know me, man. If I complain, nobody want to listen to a player, man. So I'm gonna spit this game so sweet to him and get these cavities. You understand me? Yeah, T. I came up here to say a little something, man. You know, it's been a long time since we hollered, man. But do you remember? Did you ever hear about that incident where that illegal immigrant ran over 3 people and killed them on some bullshit? You know what I'm saying? In a car accident that happened out here on the late night. Did you ever hear about
It's
that?
been so many, brother. Do you know how many incidents of illegal immigrants running over people?
Now to a story sparking outrage. 29-year-old Peter Bernardo Spencer, a Jamaican immigrant, was found fatally shot in the front lawn of a rural Pennsylvania cabin on December 12th, just hours after he was allegedly invited to the cabin by a white coworker. Authorities say that Spencer was shot 9 times, and they're investigating his death as a homicide. There were allegedly 4 others at that cabin, including Spencer's coworker, all of whom were white. Spencer's family says that 4 people were detained and questioned, but released after consultation with the county district attorney's office. And according to officials, now, more than 6 weeks later, there still have been no arrests and no charges. The district attorney's office told ABC News that it will not comment on the ongoing investigation, quote, out of concern for the impact that it may have on a case and any potential charges. And the Pennsylvania State Police also have not responded to ABC News' request for comment. And we're joined now by Conrad Spencer, Peter's father, and the family attorney, Paul Jubas. Mr. Spencer first.
Psalms 5 and 6 says, Yahweh will destroy those who tell lies. Yahweh detests murderers and deceivers. Peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. And before you hear from Mr. Spencer's father, let me tell you a little bit about this case. This happened in 2022, where Peter Spencer, 29-year-old melanated Jamaican, was invited to a camping trip with his white coworker and 3 of his white friends. While there, he ended up with 9 bullets in him and no charges were ever filed. And in the wake of the Nolan Wells situation, we keep reiterating the fact that you can't be the only one. I want you to listen to the father first before I play a video that's going to give you some of the intricate details on this guy was pretty much murdered. And the 4 white friends concocted a story nobody can disprove because Peter's dead. Just listen.
Let me say we're so very sorry for your loss. And we, of course, appreciate you both being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Spencer, while I know... Yes, thank you again for being with us. And Mr. Spencer, while I understand that many questions remain, can you tell us, to the best of your knowledge, what happened the night your son died?
To the best of my knowledge, I can't give an answer as to what happened that night, other than the fact that his friend invited him and he went. And what I am told, that friend invited other friends. That's the best to our knowledge, other than the fact that police were called to the scene, I'm told, and they in turn call us, the family, and tell us what happened. But to know what happened on the scene of the night, we really don't know. And that's the answer that we need.
Right. And Mr. Jubas, you have said that you believe this was racially motivated. Is that still your belief?
It's entirely possible. Anytime you're dealing with a situation, drawn across racial boundaries, here in America, that's a definite possibility. But like Mr. Spencer just said, we haven't been told anything. We're in a situation where we're being forced to conduct our own investigation, into a situation that should have been open and closed.
And to both of you, if you want federal agencies to get involved in this investigation and for the case to also be referred to the Pennsylvania Attorney General, if those things were to happen, what exactly would change? And then do you think you might actually get the answers or perhaps justice you're looking for?
So it's our understanding that they are involved, and it doesn't change anything immediately. At least, it's on our understanding that with their involvement, there is another level of accountability. So to the extent that, it's not just the Venango County law enforcement that's handling this and the state police, there are federal agencies involved. But we still haven't received anything substantive, from any law enforcement agencies.
And Mr. Spencer, we want to know a little bit more about your son. He was about to be a father, right? What did his future look like before this happened?
And I'll stop it right there because he goes in a little about what his son was doing. He was about to be married, about to be a father, just passed the CDL license, was very excited about what happened. And as you heard him and the lawyer say, they were getting no information from the county, the the State Bureau of Investigation, all of those places. Why? Because it happened in Venango County, which has a white population of 93.4%. So very little black people there. So the white people are going to be, as Tariq Nasheed says, always on code. Now, eventually they decided not to charge this coworker who once again invited him out to the woods with 3 other white people and then ended up shooting him. Here is some of the justification that this DA is going to say why they didn't charge the coworker who killed this man, shot him 9 times.
Another big story tonight, the DA saying no charges will be filed in the death of Peter Spencer.
It's a case of self-defense, according to the Venango County DA. Chris Hoffman found out police think drugs may have altered Spencer's behavior.
According to DA Sean White, it was a camping trip between Peter Spencer, his friend, and 3 other people. It ended with Spencer dead, the only person of color, and that's what had a lot of people questioning what happened.
We've also overseen this investigation to make sure that there isn't any hate and or bias detected throughout this investigation. And I can tell you right now, there has not been any sort of hate and or bias detected.
Police say during that camping trip back in December, everyone was drinking around a campfire. They say Peter Spencer allegedly took psychedelic mushrooms brought by someone else, and then grabbed his AK-47.
And it was the last 10 minutes where his demeanor escalated to the point of no reasoning, loss of reality, and absolutely no listening to try and de-escalate the situation.
Witnesses say Spencer was shooting the gun in the air and then ordered the other campers to get firewood. He's also accused of taking some of the campers' keys and phones, and at one point ordered one person on the ground at gunpoint. Police say Spencer's friend tried to intervene, and that's when Spencer pointed the assault rifle at him. His friend then fired 11 rounds from his pistol, 9 of which hit Spencer and killed him.
The 11 bullets in that gun, under a fight or flight type of emotion, would have been taken about 2 to 2.5 seconds to be emptied from that firearm. This is not a lengthy amount of time.
The DA says the autopsy and interviews with neighbors backed up the campers' stories of self-defense in this case.
This is not a case where he was shot once, disabled, and then somebody went on up and executed him after that.
Now, according to investigators, there were questions about whether Spencer was the one who brought the AK-47, along with another assault rifle, to the camp. But because of previous investigations by the state attorney general, as well as the ATF involving Spencer, they were able to determine it was his gun.
The ATF is responding to a whole nother incident and or active investigation. They were involved far before the victim even came to Venango County.
Meanwhile, police say there's still an ongoing investigation into the drugs brought to the camp. According to state police, there could still be charges filed because of the drugs that were in possession of people during this camping trip. In Franklin, Venango County, Chris Hoffman, KDKA News.
Okay, so that's their narrative. They're saying, well, they talk with neighbors. Who are these neighbors at a log cabin in the woods? And all of a sudden, he takes some D-rugs, starts acting crazy, grabs an AK and starts firing in the air. And then the white boy had to shoot him. Now, once again, we don't even know if that happens. You know, maybe they did lace him. Maybe he was the victim. But you see how they are trying to criminalize him. Well, there's an investigation to the D-rugs. Well, the ATF was already investigating him previously. And all of that. Just look at the evil in that white man's voice, that white man's voice when he's speaking. Well, yeah, he was a total loss of reality. He started acting erratic, no reasoning, and not listening. What does that remind you of? Yes, that's right. When they shoot unarmed men in the streets by police. But this situation reminds me eerily of the Nolan Wells situation because it's 4 white people, 1 black guy, and he gets killed. Now everybody says, oh no, he was the bad guy. And of course, they're going to corroborate their own stories. However, there was a camera at the log cabin. And so this shooting was possible, or this act was possibly recorded on tape. Let's see what they have to say about this.
It is a shooting death investigation that's captured international attention and prompted protests of outrage from Black leaders in Pittsburgh concerned it may have been a racially motivated killing.
Well, tonight, for the very first time, Action News Investigates will take you to the place where Jamaican immigrant Peter Spencer was shot 9 times until he stopped breathing. But this story wasn't easy. Investigative reporter Paul Van Osdal had to track down property assessment records in order to even find the remote hunting cabin just along I-80 along the Allegheny River Trail where Spencer was gunned down in the presence of 4 white men.
It is a case that still has not resulted in even one arrest, now 6 weeks after it happened. Here's Paul's report from Venango County.
In this idyllic setting right on the Allegheny River and just off of a bike trail is the hunting camp where police say Peter Spencer was shot to death. Authorities say his body was found in the front yard with multiple gunshot wounds. Family members say Peter Spencer was invited to the camp by a friend who he met at a previous job. A Spencer family attorney says he's not surprised that Peter would have accepted an invitation, even though family members say he was the only Black man at the camp.
He was an outdoorsman and he loved nature. He loved being in nature. He loved being among the animals in nature. So this is something that he would regularly do. It's exactly why he would have been out there.
But Spencer's trip became anything but a peaceful retreat. Police say they found multiple guns and drugs at the scene. Police detained and questioned 4 people, including a 25-year-old white man they called a suspect, but all 4 were released from custody. No charges have been filed. Action News Investigates has learned there could be video of his shooting. A sign on the front door says, "You're on camera, look up," referring to a surveillance camera in the second floor window. Now, it's possible that any video from that camera could be very useful to police, especially considering the fact that Spencer's body was found shot to death in the front yard.
So there is actually a camera.
Action News Investigates showed family attorney Paul Jubas images of the camera and sign. If there's video, could it show the actual homicide?
Sure, it could potentially show everything. This just adds another layer of mystery onto why law enforcement is handling this investigation in such a shadowy way.
The district attorney would not say if there is any video of the shooting. Also mysterious, this sign on the door of an adjacent garage saying, "We don't call 911," alongside an image of a gun. If no one called 911 immediately after this shooting, could there be criminal liability there?
There absolutely. This crime scene is dripping with criminal liability.
Again, though, police have not filed any criminal charges in the case. Property records show the hunting camp is owned by the family of Nathan Meyer. Spencer's family says Meyer is the friend who invited Peter Spencer to the camp. Action News Investigates went to Meyer's family home in Mercer and spoke briefly with his grandmother. She declined to do an interview, but said she would give our contact information to Nathan. He never responded. The district attorney here in Venango County tells me he cannot release any further information about the case until he has final autopsy results, and that could take several weeks. Reporting from outside Emlenton in Venango County, Paul Van Osdal, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
So back in the days, there was a movie called Surviving the Game, where some white men grabbed a homeless man off the streets, started feeding him, said they was going to give him a job, gave him some money, got him on his feet. And then they took him out to a log cabin to hunt. And he didn't know that they were going to hunt him. They let him run loose, and the whole game was to kill him. Ice Cube starred in that movie. This reminds me of that. Once again, it's a hunting cabin. It's a log hunting cabin. So, of course, if you're going there to hunt, you would have guns. He brought his AK-47. What was nefarious about it, just like the lawyer said, they are not investigating this in any way, not even telling them, was there any video? And of course there's video, but I'm pretty sure it had been scrubbed by the time the police got there. Now, also, Nathan Meyer, as they said, was the friend who invited him there. Now, also, once again, it said the coworker who invited him was the one who shot him. So this guy brings him to his family log cabin and waits till he starts acting erratic, even if we don't even know. This could be just the plot. Okay, we got us one coming, guys. You know what to do. Like they haven't shown any autopsy, any gunpowder residue on his fingers, nothing. Just these 4 white boys said so, and that's it. And so once again, this is a cautionary tale. Nothing was ever done to the people who killed this man, possibly in cold blood. We don't know. In Allegheny, off the Allegheny River in Venango County, Pennsylvania, an all-white town. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Even though it happened 4 years ago, this is eerily reminiscent to what is going on with Nolan Wells, where all 4 white boys are exonerated. Y'all let me know what y'all think. 919-587-7782.
Cool, follow me.